Welcome back, everybody, to Pike County Schools Excellence in Education podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Vanderbeck, publisher of the Appalachian News Express. Uh, in these podcast series with the school system, we've had some great guests on here, mostly principals or vice principals and stuff like that. Today is special, and I'll tell you the reason why. Today is special because I got a young man here who brings something very new and exciting to the county school system, Pike Central School in particular. I'm joined today by the director of bands for Pike County School System, Pike Central School, Jason Johnson. And I've known Jason as a fellow Rotarian, and he's done some amazing things with the students. And I want Jason to tell his story. So, Jason, welcome to the podcast.
Sure. Thanks for having me. It is a lot of fun to be able to share the stories, share the great things that's happened at Pike Central, and just share about my passions and love. Music education was something that changed my life, and it's a pleasure that I get to pour into the next generation of music students and bring this to our community. I'm having a great time with sharing the different stories and telling about the programs we have at Pike Central. Pike Central, we're able to offer a lot of different music education avenues from jazz band, marching band, concert band, modern band, percussion ensemble. We have a color guard program, and the list can go on and on. This year, we've been able to add theater along with our choir program. And so it's just a lot of fun to be able to share and help students find their passions at Pike Central.
Sure. All right. So before we get into the students, tell me about your background and who you are and how you got to Pike Central.
Sure. I was raised in Floyd County. I went to Prestonsburg High School. I had a great band director named Michael Bell who instilled a passion in music for me throughout high school, really poured into me. But I knew even um, when I was younger, I had a great middle school band director named Kathy Caudle. That is Corey Caudle's mom, who plays with Tyler Childers
Oh,
now,
wow. Okay.
of all the neat
Sure.
connections there. But she was the one who taught me saxophone starting in the sixth grade. And so I got to grow up in a musical atmosphere. In eighth grade, my wife and I were the only two eighth graders to march in the marching band from Adams Middle School. And so even my personal life is really interwoven into the music world. And so from Prestonsburg High School, I went to Morehead State
Okay.
University and got my bachelor's in music education there. Got out of school there and started teaching in Morgan County. I was at Morgan County Middle School as band director for 5 years. There grew a very large program, had over 50% of the school in the instrumental music
Wow.
program. And so that was something I was very proud of. And those kids did an amazing job there in Morgan County, received distinguished ratings and did some really good things. And from there, I went on to get my master's in music education from Anderson University in Anderson, Indiana. I have some ties to the Anderson area where I am a Church of God pastor,
Okay.
and that's our seminary is there in
Oh,
Anderson.
great. Okay.
And so I was able to go there and work on my master's in music ed, and that was a fantastic experience. And then getting to work here in Pike County, I did my student teaching in Pike County under Rob and Tracy Sheeler at Shelby Valley High School when they were the directors there. And so I've always had this longing to come to this area because I knew there was support for music education in Pike County, where other counties around kind of struggle sometimes with the support of the arts. I knew that here in Pike County that wasn't going to be the case. And so I always had a longing to come here. My wife works at the health department, and she got the job at the Pike County Health Department pretty much right out of college and after she did her internship. So we always knew this. We wanted to be in this area.
Sure.
So I had a disagreement with the principal in Morgan County, and based on principle, and they were doing some things that was going to hurt the music program. I resigned from that position. In doing so, that left me unemployed for a little bit of time.
Which is scary.
It is very scary. I started into the school year, and a job hadn't opened up, and I was at home and still applying. And Matt Moon gave me a call. And he said that there looks like there's going to be a position open up at Pike Central High School. And that was to be the choir director and to assist with him with the bands. That was Betsy Thompson had just retired from that position. She is a
Right,
legend in
right.
the choir world.
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
fantastic. And so it was very nervous for me to step into that role. But I stepped in as choir director, and I did that for 5 years, and in that, my wife and I moved, to Pike County, and we began to establish. Then when Matt Moon decided to go into the administrative field, it was pretty much a seamless transition for me to kinda step into his role and continue the labor of love that he had begun there at Pike Central.
Which is also your labor of love too.
Oh, absolutely,
So
it's
what instruments do you play besides the
well,
saxophone?
saxophone was my major instrument. That's the one that I'm most proficient on. And it's kind of funny when people say, "What instruments do you play?" Because as a music educator, I'm like, "Well, saxophone pretty well. Everything else, okay." But if you come to see me at church and all, you would notice I'll play guitar, I'll play keys, and I will do different instruments depending on what's needed. So to an average person, I could play quite a bit, but somebody who's real well trained, I'm a saxophone
That's
player.
right. So you mentioned support for music education. How has the support been at Pike Central for music education since I mean, from prior to you getting there to now where you're at, and your program continues to grow.
Yeah, and as our program grows, I find that the support grows. The community has really rallied behind the things we've done, and it's been our community that's helped supported all that we've done. Because we know that finances, no matter in what area of living you're in right now, it's tough. It's difficult to meet all the needs of every program, of every student. And so it's been our community to help rally around to make different things happen. But the school system, our superintendent has been fantastic to work with. Both Reed Atkins and Freddie Bowling have both been very supportive. I've gone to them saying, I've got a vision. This is where I want us to go. And they've always been like, we will help partner with you however we can.
Sure.
And those there. And then my board member, Miss Stephanie Lowe, has been fantastic to me. We discuss often about what we want to see happen next. Where do we want to see things grow? And
Sure.
it's always really exciting because I am a visionary person. I always want to take the next step in something greater. I don't want things to ever grow stagnant. I want to give more opportunities. I want to see everything grow. But that's at the district level. At the school level, my principal, Dr. Klein, is fantastic. I went to him when I first took over as band director, and I said, "Hey, this is good, but can we tweak our school schedule to give more offerings in music education?" And he goes, "Well, you draw it up, you show me how it works, and we'll see what we can do." And so I worked on the plan and I brought it to him, and he saw it and he got behind it immediately.
Sure.
And with that, we offer now a beginning band class. And that was one of the things we instituted at that first schedule change for students who maybe missed out on their music education through elementary school, through those early grades, but they get to high school and realize they want to be a part of this musical experience. So even at the high school, they can start in band in that beginning band and then transfer into our more elite ensembles as they grow.
As it grows.
Yeah.
So how was the participation in these programs in the beginning and then your intermediate and expert and so on? What's the participation like? But what is it now versus when you first started?
Yeah, it just continues to grow. We know that at the beginning we had a very big growth, and we roughly have about 100 students who participate in the program as a whole. But that's split up between multiple
A lot.
ensembles. And so, yeah, it's we're excited about that, and it's only growing. And I can
Sure.
explain some of the changes made just this past year that has helped things take off even more. But we can get to that in a minute. Um, but just in these programs, the beginning band, we are looking at roughly around 45 kids or so that take just the beginning band every year. And some of these students are students who are learning a secondary instrument, an instrument that they don't know, but many of them are first time musicians coming in. And our guidance counselor, Miss Jamie Good, does a fantastic job of telling these new freshmen that come in, it's like, hey, you might have not have done music education in the past, but you want to get started. You want to get to know Mr. Johnson. You want to be a part of this excellent ensemble because you will travel, you will see a lot, you
Sure.
will be able to do a whole lot. So we have that. And then our concert band is about 55 students, and that's our band that does more of our formal events. Our jazz band is always a full ensemble. I actually have to turn students away from that
Oh,
group
wow.
because in a jazz band, you don't want it. It's not like a concert band or a marching band where you can take all the kids because when you have a drum set, you really only need one drum set player.
Right.
You only need one guitarist, one bassist. So it's a much more elite ensemble. And so we always have kids asking to be a part of that, and I've have to audition and figure out ways to that. But we've always had a full big band out of that, and so that's one of the ensembles you see a lot in our community because those are the kids who give a lot of their time, their efforts, and
Right.
so it's so exciting because we get to play the banquets, and the community knows that ensemble. They know if they need some live music, well, let's get the jazz band there.
Exactly. So, why is music important in education?
You know, that's interesting you say that because I've studied music education in my master's work and starting into some ideas into my doctorate on music as education as aesthetic education to make you a better person, to make you more sensible to the things around us, our emotions, our environments. Because a lot of times you'll hear music teachers, they'll roll off the statistics. If you do music, you become better at math.
I
You'll
was going
get
to say
higher
that. Yeah.
scores,
Yeah.
and it's true. Music education will make you a much better individual, but nobody becomes a musician to be better at math. They do it to become more human. To it's something part of our nature. There is no culture, no environment in the history of the world that didn't have music. It's just a part of the human condition. And so, for that not to be educated, they're missing something that makes them fully human and fully what they could be. And
Sure.
so, I teach music for the humanity side of it to discover who people are, not necessarily for the other attributes, although those are helpful when I go to my principal and say, "Hey, we need to get this kid more music." They're like, "Well, I know your kids have the highest test scores in the school."
Sure.
So it's always helpful.
How hard is it to get a student involved with it? Because you say band and people say, oh, I don't want to be in a band because it's nerdy, or they say, I don't have the money to buy an instrument, or I can't get support at home for that, or, my wife plays the piano. I was telling you about earlier. My wife is,
Yes.
she's getting back on the piano. I can't play the piano, and every time I try to practice the piano, I'm feeling like my neighbors are going to come and shoot me because this sounds like an elephant's dying.
Sure.
I'm embarrassed for the
Oh,
when
absolutely.
how do you get over that stigmatism, or how do you get over a student, you know, being embarrassed about not being embarrassed about
Yeah,
learning?
it's just learning. Yes, I completely understand what you're saying because I go to students and my principal laughs at me all the time, especially the first couple of days of school. Because I will walk around the school and I'll find a table of students who are not musicians. I'll sit down on them and go, "Why are you all not in my program? Why are you not joining?"
Right.
Because I want to hear their reasoning. And sometimes you'll have the reason of, as you mentioned, of kind of a cultural issue of, oh, is that nerdy or this and that? But the good thing is our program being so successful, it kind of erases some of that idea. Because it's our students who we've had cheerleaders in our band program, we've had football players in our
I was
band
going to say,
program.
I'd love to see an
Um,
offensive lineman learn how to play the flute and be in your band.
oh yeah,
That would be
absolutely.
cool.
And
Or the quarterback, playing a trombone.
right, and which we open it up that we can do those things. In Morgan County, once I mentioned that, I had many of our star football players was in that program. Haven't developed that as much as Pike Central. During COVID, we had a little bit of a
Right. Yeah.
hit, and so we're still culturally developing on some of that. But it's been a very good push. So we don't have some of that nerdy stigma
Sure.
as some schools face because we have students of all walks of life who are also musicians, not just one select group. But not only that, then you talk about the financial aspect. You're like, what about the kid who can't afford the instruments? Well, I spend a lot of time writing grants, begging the community.
Right. Yeah.
If you ever see, I would like sponsor this event, sponsor that event, because all of those funds directly go to help students who are in need. And we find sponsorships. Many of the local churches in the community and local individuals will step out to help make sure students have whatever they need to be successful. And that's the reason I want to talk about the success of our program. It's the success of a community who rallies together, who will hear my vision and say, I will invest in that. I will do that.
Sure.
So that takes away some of those. Now, there's still issues at times where a student has outgrown a beginner line horn and they need a better horn. And sometimes those types of situations, it becomes very difficult. And many of them, though, they will get jobs and they'll work hard to save up for that instrument because they know investing in a better instrument will help them continue to grow as a musician, and they feel very accomplished
Sure.
doing that.
Exactly.
And so those are the two things that helps us think of it. But the best one you said was, what about that feeling that you're just not good. You're not going to be good. And those growing pains, nobody likes to hear an instrument when you're first learning. No matter who it is, the first time they sit on the instrument, it doesn't sound great. And so I go up to students all the time and I'll ask them, hey, why don't you join the band and all? And they go, I don't know. I'll be terrible. I don't know how to do that. And I go, well, two things. One, I get paid to teach you.
Right.
It's like, you're not going to be good. And I don't expect you to be good. And I will even tell them, they'll be like, I would be terrible. I go, you're right. You will be, but I will make you great.
Sure.
That's what I do for a living. I take kids who want to be good and I get them there. So I take that stigma off of them. I go, it's not about if you're good or not.
Sure.
It's about what I can do. And I can take you from one level to the next.
How many kids come to you and say, listen, Mr. Johnson, I want to be the next Ginger Baker, or I want to be the next Miles Davis, or I want to be the next Jimi Hendrix, and I'm going to play music for the rest of my life, and I'm going to join a band, and that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, what's interesting is students generally don't come to me with that idea. Once they get into music and they start learning the instrument, that's when they develop those passions. We're very proud at Pike Central that we do have students who have graduated our program, gone on to be professional musicians, music educators, and they have become elite in our field, but they got their start there at Pike Central. Right now, we have student teachers out in our schools who came from our program. I've mentioned that I was going to talk about one new addition this year that is exciting. This would be a good time for that. This year, we added a new assistant band director to my position, and he's the band director at Mullins Elementary. His name is Stephen Westfall. He is fantastic. He's a great educator. He's come into our program, and he has brought kids up out of the woodworks, like making them great before I get them. And so that's helping our program. This is his first year, and he's already like tripled the participation in our competitive marching band, in the way the kids move up in our program. So I'm really excited about what's starting there. And Ricky Thacker has been great as the principal at Mullins to help support this vision. So this was a new addition. And this is one of the things that I went to our board member and I went to Mr. Bowling. I was like, hey, our program is capped out. We are at the end of what we can do with what we have. I need another set of hands. I need your help to grow this further. And they were able to call around and contact, and they were able to open this position. Now, that position was open for Stephen Westfall because he was a former student of myself and Matt Miller.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We knew, because he came through our program, he knew our expectations of the program.
He knew the basis, he knew the foundation, he knew the expectation level,
culture,
and everything.
Yes. And so when he decided that he would come back home and teach with me, I was like, I need this in order to continue the vision. And so he stepped in and he has done a great job of help guesting. He started a middle school jazz band, the only one that I know of in the area, in the surrounding counties. And so he started that. And so I'm going to have kids coming into my jazz program who's already jazzed before.
Yeah,
already
and played in front of an audience before, and they've done some ensemble work and stuff like that. So they have a leg up going into the program.
Right. And so that's so exciting that we have him on board now. And so when you say, where's our participation at? Well, we're doing well coming out of COVID. We were able to sustain, but we are just now, and we are truly for the school system, we're about 5 years outside of the COVID era.
Sure.
And we're now really getting our footing back to get that next generation in, because the kids we had either missed middle school band, missed years that is crucial for music development. And now we're coming out of that system and seeing a big growth.
And the best thing about playing an instrument or working in a band or doing something, you can't use your phone or AI to do it for you. It's all about you. What's it mean to you when you see a student who comes in there and plays like a dead goose?
Yes.
And all of a sudden, now they're playing something fantastic. How much pride do you have, and how much pride does that student have?
Wow, that you speak on that, and I cannot even tell you the amount of times I've been in tears watching kids come out of their shell, finding that they found their place, they found their passion. Like this year, we have a couple students are heading to major music ed as seniors, and they are both fantastic musicians now. And so to watch their growth, I'm like, I was talking earlier to a friend, and I was showing pictures of these students. I'm like, I'm not like a happy father showing up. Look at what my kids are accomplishing. Listen to what my kids are doing. My wife and I, we chose not to have any kids of our own. So we literally pour our entire lives into this program, into these kids to see their lives
Sure.
changed. She is my color guard instructor.
Oh,
So
nice. Okay.
she does all the flag work. If you see our winter guard during ball games and all, that's all her work. And she does it for that great price that I can afford of free.
Sure, right. That even helps.
Um,
So how many bands are at high schools and elementary schools in Pike County?
Wow, every high school has a band
Has a band, right?
program. Yeah, and so they're all well, and I think every student has the opportunity to take
Sure.
some sort of band. Now, some of them are not offered every day. Some of them are done multiple times a day, but those are staffed a lot of times by the principals of that school, so they get to choose the scheduling and how they do that. But we know that there's support for music education in every school in the county. So
Sure.
that's good.
When I was growing up, I played football and I was in a band too. I played trumpet and I was in the first set, but I was fourth seat, so I was the worst of all the 12 trumpet players. And my instructor said, "Listen, you know what? You don't blow into it.
Yeah, just finger
just
along
do
with
the
it.
finger
Yeah, yeah,
along."
yeah.
So, all right, brag on yourself and brag on your band. I mean, you talk about the accolades and all the competitions that you're in first place, second place. Tell me about some of the things that you guys have entered into and where you wound up.
Wow. This is something that it's kind of always difficult to talk about because it is feeling like bragging on myself with it, but I love to brag on the kids because I want to know that the success the kids happen is not just because of me. I set the vision and the success happens by the community that rallies around. I've got volunteer instructors who come and volunteer their times and labor. My percussion instructor is just one of my band dads who marched with Shelby Valley and Rob Sheeler back in the day. And
Sure.
he's being trained to get better, and he just volunteers his time. My parents are great about raising the money and doing all of that legwork, and my whole staff is volunteer. They come in with the competitive marching band. We'll start there. Um, Competitive marching band, we are the only school basically in Eastern Kentucky that offers a competitive marching band. It's something very unique, which means we have to travel far to compete
Sure.
because there's nobody around to compete
And
with
you guys are
us.
winning awards, aren't you?
Yes, yes, they do very well. So we competed through Virginia, West Virginia. We've been in Kentucky. We have competed up in Ohio, and generally they take first place. But any band our size, we are definitely very competitive. Our drum line, our color guard almost went completely undefeated last
Wow.
season. But what's really exciting is a lot of these competitions we go to, we win what's called the grand champion. This past season, we won 2 grand champions and a reserve, which means that we had the highest score of any band of the day. Now, our school is a smaller school system, being like there's only, I think, around 550 kids or 560 kids at Pike Central, which means that our band program is going to be smaller than schools that have 2,000.
Right, exactly.
And so some of their band programs have many more kids on the field, much bigger bands, just because of the size
Sure.
of the school. But our kids compete against kids.
But you
bands
still
that size.
beat them like a drum, don't
And
you?
we do.
How's that for
We
how's
do.
that for a pun?
Oh, that's fantastic. But that's a sense of pride for our community and our kids
Sure.
when they realize that it's not just bands that's our size or schools our size, but it's when we compete against bands that should be much larger. Because in the marching band world, it's easier to have an effect when you have a lot of kids out there.
Right.
It's easier to be loud. It's easier to do that. So when our kids are able to show up and be successful on that, it's very good. But talking about that, I'm always a visionary. I'm always saying, what's the next step? Well, I've proposed it to the parents. We've talked about this coming year. We look like we're still financially trying to find the money, but we're looking that we're going to compete at the national level this coming year, which will be a new step for us.
And where would that be?
Well, it's a program. The group's called Bands of America,
Okay.
and they host competitions all over the United States. Our regional will be in Johnson City, Tennessee. It will be in the dome there. So we'll be competing there if the finances, because just to sign up for that competition is over $1,000.
Wow.
Just to sign up
Just
to
to
go.
sign up, right? Yeah.
So, and that's not including the travel fees, hotel fees, and all of that.
Cheeseburgers and stuff like
Right,
that.
right.
Yeah.
And so all that finances, but that would be our regional. But if we do well there and our kids will be there, we were looking at going to the Grand Nationals, and that's in Lucas Oil Stadium
Oh,
in
Indianapolis,
Indianapolis.
right? Sure.
Yes.
The
So
drum.
yes, to be
What,
that
what a
big dome
perfect
there.
place. The drum, as
Yes.
Chris Berman calls it.
Yes, and it's that area is known for the music
Sure.
education of Indianapolis, and that dome was actually built in relation to bands, and so it's actually constructed in such a way that bands can perform there, and it's like a big theater,
Right.
and so it's going to be exciting. We are hopeful in November to have our kids for the first time walking onto the field of Lucas Oil Stadium to perform.
That'd be phenomenal.
Well, I mean, a little band, and then we are a little
Sure,
band
right.
comparatively to the big world, to go out and compete at the national level.
Sure.
That's just a sense of pride of being under those lights.
Absolutely. That's got to be
being
a
there.
fantastic opportunity.
Yeah, so we're excited about that. And what that does for kids, you'll see these kids when they march their final time of the show, and they're already aggravating me. What's next year's show? What's
Right.
going on? When are you going to reveal? Because I don't reveal them anything about the show until I'm ready to reveal it to the whole community. This is our show this
Sure.
coming year. And they're excited, but they always, that last show, you watch the whole kids come off in tears
Absolutely.
because they know it's over.
Yeah.
They know they poured their entire fall into it, some of their summer into it. And then when it comes to an end, they know that chapter of their life is over. And so some of these kids, they will talk about their high school experience based on the shows. Oh, remember the Bob year?
Right.
Oh, do you remember the year that we did the show Let's Fly? This past year, our show
Right,
was called
exactly.
Into the New
Sure.
World. And so in next year's show, I'm not going to say just in case the kids
Yeah, right.
watching.
They will be.
Oh, and then we'll have fun with that. But so the marching band's very successful at that level, and kids are flocking more and more to that program just because it's a place where they can find success, work hard for a beautiful product.
Sure.
And then, like I say, our jazz band, we're known, we play every time there's any type of event. They're like, hey, can you be there? And it's like, yes. And so that's more of a gigging band than we do for a lot of accolades. I mean, you just hear them, and these kids are amazing. And so that's just more of a performing group. Like this year, all the competitions for jazz band, we're busy playing locally, so we don't have the time to always go and do those things with that ensemble. But our concert band, we are now 2 decades, over 20 years of straight distinguished ratings.
That's
Straight distinguished.
amazing.
That means that there's never been a year that one judge heard the band and go, you know, it's not quite great. It's maybe just a high proficient. It's always, wow, what a fantastic group,
Sure.
distinguished ratings.
Right.
And that's the legacy that I get to build on. And it's something that drives me to work really hard. And it drives our kids to work hard because they know that they're part of a legacy of excellence.
Sure.
That goes on before me and even before Matt Moon, of different directors who have poured their hearts and soul into that program.
Exactly.
So I just get to continue on the excellence that's already was
And
established.
distinguished accolades and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So how many of your students move on to continuing education and get scholarships?
Wow. Almost every senior, well, it is any senior that has a school that they're going to that offers a music scholarship and they audition, they get it.
Wow.
We generally don't have any kid who goes after a music scholarship and does not get it. And we have many kids at University of Pikeville that's received their top scholarships there. At Morehead State, they've received scholarships to go there and to grow and just all over. So that's one of those things that if a student is in our program and they say, I want a music scholarship, I don't have any problem going, well, I can guarantee you that.
Sure.
I can guarantee you, because if you're a part of Pike Central's program, the other communities know that that's going to be a good musician. They're going to be well established because of what's
The
been
reputation and the past history. So
Yes.
you have some upcoming events coming up. Talk to me about
yeah.
some
Well,
of that
a
stuff.
lot of the events, we're kind of winding down the school year
Right.
at this point, which is sad for our kids because they're always ready to perform. But we are looking at jazz bands performing at the app, and that is on Tuesday.
Tuesday the 19th.
Oh, you got
It's
it already. I
election-
was getting ready to look.
It's election day, which is Tuesday the 19th. And I think we're all going to need some reprieve from this mudslinging election we got.
Oh, well, this
So-
will be a great time. So if your candidate wins, come out and celebrate. If your candidate loses, come out and just have a good
Commiserate.
time. Yes, commiserate. So either way, we are able to come out. But that's going to be a very fun show for our jazz band. That is the last show for our jazz ensemble this year. So these kids, especially the seniors, this jazz band, which is fantastic, won't exist in this format ever again.
Sure.
And so these singers and all, they're going to be pouring their hearts and soul into
That
show.
show. Exactly.
And so that's going to be good. But following up on that show is also the Bend Swinging Big Band.
Uh-oh.
This is a big band that I get to play in with some of the professors of Morehead State and the local musicians around here, like Steve Westfall mentioned, Matt Moon. We all get together in a big band and we play a bunch of jazz standards and all. So it's exciting that the Pike Central Jazz, and then these students get to see people who continue in music from there and continue enjoying themselves.
Well, that's fantastic. And the good thing about music and band, you could do that for the rest of your life.
Oh, absolutely.
It's something that if you learn how to play a guitar or an instrument or a woodwind or a horn, you could do that forever and ever and ever. And if you choose to, you can get a career at it like you do and watch people grow and do fantastic things. Jason, I want to tell you, what you're doing at Pike Central is phenomenal. It's fantastic. It's a great opportunity for students. It's a great opportunity for the region, for the children, for the kids. And man, just keep up that good work. And I wish you the best of luck. And I want to thank you all for joining us today in Pike County Schools, Excellence in Education. Truly what Jason's doing is showing excellence in music education. And thank you very much for doing what you're doing. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. I've had a great time. I can talk about my kids all day long.
I bet you can. So, one last thing before we go. How long has the beard been growing?
That's a question you're not the first one to ask.
I'm
that.
sure.
I'm about 8 years in now. Now I keep it trimmed up to some degree because I always thought if I was going to grow a beard, it needs to look somewhat professional, not just out there. So I keep it somewhat trimmed, but I'm about 8 or 9 years into it. I really don't know when I started growing it.
Oh my goodness. Well,
but it's become now iconic, and people,
sure.
they would go, "Oh, do you know Jason Johnson?
Who's that? The beard guy?
Oh, yeah, yes." Then they know.
Exactly. So again, thank you for joining us. Wish you the best of luck. We'll see you on the 19th.
Great. We'll see you all there.
Thank you.